Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hamid Islam, and today I'm going to do a live demo about the very powerful software and free software actually called NMAP. NMAP, as we discussed earlier in the slides, is a free powerful software that you can use to detect more information about your target IP or website or anything actually. So basically, it's a footprinting tool that we use to get information about the target or website. I think that NMAP is a must-have in any kind of penetration testing or ethical hacking or all of that stuff. You need to know about NMAP. You need to know how to use it. And so to start off, we're going to talk about the types of scans that we can do. We're going to start with the full scan, and we're going to do some stealth scans, and then we're going to finally do some OS scan, which gets you the OS version or what kind of OS this target is running. And we're going to do some trace route, and then finally we're going to talk about the scripts and how to use these scripts and how you can actually find vulnerabilities in the targets that you are scanning. Okay, so to start off, we're gonna open the terminal, and then we are gonna write nmap, which is gonna list like the help about this nmap. It's gonna tell you what it does, and it's gonna provide you all of the information you need to know about. It's not all of the information, but it's a very good information. So here we can see that it talks about the target specification, how you can do that, how you can do host discovery, how you can do the scan techniques and port specifications, and also all of this stuff, the service versions, script scanning, and OS detection, timing, all of that stuff. So let's start with it. First, I'm gonna do a TCP scan. So in order to do a TCP scan, I have to know what my target is. My target is gonna be the scanme.nmap.org. It's a free website that's provided by the NMAP people, and we can use this website to scan it, and it's good for educational purposes. So how I'm gonna do the TCP scan? Basically, I'm gonna type nmap, and then I'm gonna type dash small s and then t. T means TCP scan, and then I'm gonna specify what my target is. My target, I can either specify a website, and it's gonna find that IP through the DNS resolution, or I can just directly put in the IP address for this website. So I'm going to type scanme.nmap.org, and I'm going to run it. And now it's going to do a TCP full scan. What's a TCP full scan? It's, as we said earlier, it's made of 3 steps. It's SYN. You send a sync request to the server, and then the server responds with a SYN acknowledgement, SYN ACK, and then you have to send an acknowledgement, which is the third part. So these 3 parts, they make up the TCP handshake, as they call it. So the program is doing this with each and every single port, some TCP, establishing TCP connection, and then it's gonna find what it does. So here, this is the results. We can see that first of all, it scanned the top 1000 ports, and 996 of them are closed ports. So these are the open ports that we found. Port 22, which is running on TCP, and it's open, and the service that it's running is SSH. Port 80 has HTTP, and port 9929 is nping echo, and so on. Okay, so this is the first type of scan. Next, we're gonna do some stealth scan. I'm gonna use the same thing, but I'm gonna use it in stealth. Okay, why should I use stealth scan? Let me just run this, and okay, I have to do the root privileges, it's saying. So in order to run stealth scan, I have to put sudo first, and then I'm gonna put my password, and now it's running the stealth scan. So why should I use stealth scan? Basically, when we're using nmap, it's considered a very noisy application, meaning that when we are doing our scans, all of the fireworks basically can detect what you're doing. They know that you've scanned them. So in order to hide what we're doing, we can use some stealth scan, which is a different kind of scan, or also we can make it very slow. When we're making it slower, the scan time is going to be longer for us, but it decreases the chance that the firewall knows what's up. It knows what's going on. Okay, so going back to what is a stealth scan, what it does. If we remember what the TCP handshake was, it consisted of 3 steps, right? The SYN, and then ACK. The stealth scan is actually faster than that because it removes the third part. So when it says it sends a SYN request, and then when it gets the SYN acknowledgement request, it does not send back the acknowledgement. So it doesn't actually complete the 3 steps in order to complete the handshake. So since there's no handshake going on, it's very hard to know what, like, the firewalls can't detect it properly, but they actually can. I mean, nothing is perfect, but like this is a better version than using TCP because it's less time, but and it's hard to figure out. It's less noisy, let's say. Okay, so the second thing that I'm going to talk about is, okay, so now I want to talk about port specification and how you can select specific ports you want to scan, because sometimes you don't want to scan all of the ports, and sometimes you do, but you can actually specify what ports you want to scan directly. So let's just try this command. You do sudo, I mean, it shouldn't be necessary, but it's better to do it. And you put the tag /p, and then you specify the port that you want to scan. So for here, for example, I'm going to scan port 80, and I also want to scan port 443. Okay, and then I'm gonna specify my target again, scan me.nmap.org. Then when I run it, here it's giving me the 2 ports, and it says this one is opened and this one is closed. Okay, so what other stuff can I do? Can I scan all of the ports? Yes, I'm just gonna repeat the same thing, except this time I'm not gonna put the ports. I'm gonna put -p-, and this is gonna scan every single port that we have, which is from 1 to 65,000 something. I'm not sure how much, but yeah. So we'll go back to this after this finishes. Alright, we're back, and here we can see that the scan took 260 seconds approximately, and it scanned all of the ports, 65,000 something. Most of them were closed except these 4 ports, as you can see here, and the service that they're running. You might think that, okay, so what? I can just see ports and services. What else? What else can it do? So another thing that NMAP, the very powerful NMAP tool, can do is basically it can detect version, the server's version of which what they're running, okay, and it can also guess like what kind of OS they're running it on, and it also does a trace route. We can do all of this in just one command. If I type sudo nmap, and then I want to do a stealth scan, and then I can also append -a. -a is gonna do a service, not service, yeah, service scan, full service scan. And then I'm gonna specify my target, scan me.nmap.org, and I'm gonna wait for this to run. Basically, I did it previously here, and these were the results. We can see that the result, it took about 29 seconds, and the results was there's this. The first one is the TCP port, and here it's saying the version is OpenSSH and 6.6 whatever, Ubuntu, all of that, and this is the host key. And here we can see the aggressive OS guesses. It's guessing that it's Linux 5.0, 92%. All of these two are 92%, 5.0, 5.4, and then it slowly gets lower and lower guesses. So what can we do with this? But first, before this, let me explain the trace route. The trace route, we can see that's going from my address to the STC, and then like what hops is it taking in order to get to the final destination. The final destination is here. Okay. So what can we do with this? Like knowing this kind of information. For example, we can do a social engineering attack where I can call up the company and then pretend that I'm kind of working on a patch for their server, and I can specify the server that they had and the service version that they have. and I say that there's some kind of vulnerability or something, and then we're gonna send you a patch before we release it to the world because you're our valid customer. And if they don't know that we're using Nmap, and then we already know, like they would say, like, who could have guessed this? Who could have guessed that we have this kind of version, the exact version? Okay, so this is a possible social engineering attack that we can do using Nmap. Okay, so finally, I want to show you one of the most powerful things and the most interesting parts of Nmap to me is the script engine. It has basically that you can run scripts, and these scripts can find vulnerabilities for you. Like all of the known vulnerabilities, they are listed in something called the CVE, sorry, common vulnerabilities. I'm not sure what the last E means. But basically, this is like a list of all of the known vulnerabilities, and they're listed, and they're also listed by severity. So it's gonna compare and find if these vulnerabilities exist, then I'm gonna show it. So let me run this. I'm gonna say sudo nmap, and then I'm gonna say stealth service version scan, and then like these tags, these dashes, and when you can append, it doesn't have to be in a specific order, but you just have to put them, and it's intelligent enough to find out. I'm gonna put dash script, and then finally I'm gonna put the name of the script that I'm gonna run. It's gonna be called one runs, and then I'm gonna specify my target scanme.nmap.org. Then we let this run. I can also press enter if I want to see how much, like what's going on. If it's taking too long. Here I can see that it's about 25%. If I press enter again, it says 89%. So this is the results. Yes, finally to the good part. So here it's showing me that this port, which has the SSH open, it has the following vulnerabilities, and it's ranking them by severity. So this one has an 8.5 out of 10 severity, and this is an 1.9, and so on. So let me click on this one, for example. I'm not sure how to click it. Yeah, just double click, and we can open the website, and it shows you a lot of information about like what this is. So this is SSH. It does not properly restrict the processing of keyboard interactive devices within a single connection. So here, like, we can get some information to conduct a brute force attack or cause denial of service, for example. And here it shows references, and also you can like a very interesting, you can copy the name of this and just put it in the search and put GitHub, and you can actually find people who implemented this attack. You can basically just copy and paste their code, and yeah, you're done. Yeah, so this is very interesting because there's so many scripts and there's so many things that you can do with the script. So yeah, I think this is the end of our presentation. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to ask.